Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the cabin. I thought I would take you out here and let you see the grass that I planted about a week ago. Well, I know it still may be hard to see, but there's actually a really good covering of grass in there. They're like little tiny needles sticking up. I know that you all have probably seen that before if you ever planted any grass. But I think that probably within about 2 weeks' time, I should have a really good stand of grass here. And that kind of excites me because for 3 winters now, I went back and forth wearing those big boots because of the mud. And of course I had gravel in this one area, but I still had to walk, other places where there was mud. I wished I had bought about 6 more bales of hay. That way I could have doubled up on the covering, because when I water it, that holds the moisture down there to the ground, so it kind of keeps a humid environment in there to help the grass grow. Now, I can't keep the dogs off of it, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's just their little paws and it will still grow. So anyway, I'm excited to get this going because it's going to make a whole lot of difference up here at the cabin, just having greenery around it, because for the most part it's been, like I said, gravel. So this will be really nice to have. And then next year I'm looking forward to mowing the grass and having a good thick blanket down to be able to change the appearance of everything up here. This side over here may look a little bit different. I think it's because it doesn't get as much sunshine as the other side, but it's still, you can look at a certain angle and see that there's a lot of really thin grass growing in here. So it won't take this long for this other grass that has come up on its own for all of that to merge together. So yeah, this is really exciting, getting some greenery around the cabin. I had somebody comment and asked what type of watering system that I had. Just something plain and simple. Those 4 barrels right there hold my water. This is just a regular water pump and just a regular garden hose. I went ahead and got the sprinkler head to go on the end of it right there to keep me from having to stand out there like I did the first day, because I didn't have one to water the lawn. But I put about 50 gallons in there, because if I fill it all the way to the top, by the time I come up and down this hill and my sister's hill, I lose some out the top. So I don't fill them all the way. At the rate that the water comes out of the hose when I fill these up, it takes about 15 minutes to fill one of these. I've pretty well got that down to a science with watering the gardens and so forth since I've been here and when we first started the homestead. It takes about 15 minutes to fill one of these up. The barrel is kind of divided into thirds, actually, the way it's built. So it takes 5 minutes to fill this up, like I said, based on the rate the water comes out of the garden hose. And it takes it about the same amount of time, maybe just a little bit less, for it to empty at the rate that it comes out that the pump is. Now I can crank the pump way up where it will distribute it a whole lot faster, but with a not just an idle, but stepped up just a little bit like a fast idle, it takes about the same amount of time, like I say, to empty it as it does to fill it. So the sprinkler will cover about 30 feet. It sprays about 15 feet, when it fans back and forth. So it's about 60 feet from maybe the end of the cabin to the end of the carport. So what I'll do is I'll kind of set it over there on one half. I'll let it run for 5 minutes. Then I will move it over to the other half and let it run 5 minutes there. Come over here, same thing towards the back side of the cabin, let it run halfway, and then move it to the front. So basically it's running for 20 minutes. Now that empties a barrel and the third. So with these 4 barrels I can water for about 3 days. Now when I first started out, didn't really know how much to put on there, and still I'm not really watering it that much when you consider that one of these, let's say there's 50 gallons in there, and then another 15, I'm running 65 gallons out. I don't know if people really realize how much water they're using, but that's only running it for 5 minutes, and I've got it on a timer so that I don't burn the pump up because I'm in the house and I'm not pumping any water. But it would be very easy to run 200 gallons on a lawn just by leaving say the sprinkler in one position for maybe 20 or 30 minutes and then moving it. I mean, it's easy to dump a bunch of water out there in a hurry. So I kind of have to be frugal with the water that I use up here, but I think that I'm doing it enough because that grass has only been planted for a week and it's really growing good. I never imagined that it would actually grow that fast, but it took hold, and I think it maybe has a lot to do with that topsoil that I put on here too. I mixed it in with some sawdust like you all watched, and I also mixed in those ashes, wood ashes from the fireplace that I'd been saving over a couple of winters. So I think that that has a lot to do with it as well. And the two types of grass seed that I planted was rye, which is a fall and winter type crop, and then the fescue, which is more of a spring and summer type crop. Those two put together, the one had sort of a chemical covering on it, which I would imagine was probably a fertilizer. But having the seeds mixed will give me a good winter crop and hopefully a good spring and summer crop. If it appears to be not quite what it should be, then I can always plant some more grass next year and just throw it in and use the grass that I do have, kind of like the covering of the hay right here. But you know, like I said, it's really exciting to see some greenery growing where it used to be nothing but dirt. Now, I mentioned that I go to my sister's and get water, and it's been the same way for my gardens the past couple of years raising them. I would water them every evening and still try to be frugal with the amount of water that I was using, just enough for the plants to grow. Of course, this year I actually didn't even use water and it still grew like it did the previous years, but you know, we've been getting all of this rain, so I didn't have to. And as chance would have it, just as it's been just raining all summer, late spring and all through the summer, just as I got ready to plant the grass, we hit like an 8 to 10 day drought where there was no rain. So my sister says, well, I don't want you to lose your grass, so come up here and get the water and put it on the lawn. So that's the reason that I have it on a timer, like I said, to kind of watch it to make sure that I don't use too much, but get just enough in there so that the grass can grow. Now, it's kind of funny that this area right here was never watered. This is actually an area that I was trying to develop where I could take the four-wheeler and the tractor up to go by the outdoor kitchen where I can get up to the chicken house if I need to pull a log down or something. But I never did bring the sprinkler over here this far. So possibly since it's shaded and it doesn't get as much sun as some of the other areas, whatever moisture is left in the ground stays there. Because it seems to be growing at the same rate that the other is, even though I'm watering it. But since it's out there in full sun, I'm choosing to water it in the evening so that it kind of lays there overnight, moistens the ground, and hopefully gives the seeds enough water to be able to take root and to grow well. But yeah, it's all doing really well, and I'm really happy about that. So the issue that I was facing as I was planting this seed was, how am I going to get the tractor up around the chicken house, the pig pen, and the property that we have that goes up to the top of the mountain, because I'd been using the area coming up by the carport up through here for the four-wheeler and everything. So I thought, well, the easiest thing to do would be to take out those two trees sitting by those steps right there, moving that wood pile, and continue to come up where I just showed you the grass, come up around through here, which is just a short 50-foot section of road that I tried to build myself, and to come up through here and to access this. The only other alternative that I had was I could continue that road and go behind the outdoor kitchen through the woods over there, and then come all the way back up around the chicken house and the pig pen right there, which you're looking at a couple 100 feet. Plus it's on the side of the hill, and I really don't have the equipment to make a road traversing the side of a hill, because I need to hit anything with my bucket head on to be able to move anything really. And the box blade does tilt, but it's not enough to be on the side of a hill to actually make a road. The other alternative I had was to go in the opposite direction or come up from the backside, which you can see the tower right there, through the woods down where the other road was that I used to access that hollow down there, because it would be too steep to try to turn and come up this way. But I'd kind of have to angle off, and you're talking a couple hundred feet that way. So like I said, I figured the best thing to do was to remove that poplar tree down there. I could actually use it on the workshop that I'm building down there, and just come right around the corner of the front, because most of this I'm probably not going to access that much because I kind of want to leave it growed up. And there is a property line that kind of runs at a diagonal angle up into the woods about halfway up the hill, and I tried to stay as far away from the property line but still up on the mountain because I didn't want anybody building behind me. So if I move my cabin up towards the property line, nobody will really want to build there because I'm living in the vicinity, right? So those were the alternatives, or the ways that I could actually build a road up here, and I chose the easiest route, like I said, not only to save money, but didn't want to have to take, it takes time to remove timber and build a road and do things like that. So not that I don't have the time, because I'm retired, but it just would cost too much money. So having a small space where I can turn and come up beside the kitchen still leaves me with the same area that I had before, and it's going to cost a whole lot less. So I'm hoping, I've said this before, I'm hoping to get that workshop done by winter, but winter is fast approaching. Not really sure if I'm going to be able to do it or not, but that's okay, because that will give me something to work on during the winter months. But this area right here is reserved for a root cellar. Now, I just have to have places to park my stuff because I'm kind of limited for space up here. But where you see that machinery sitting, that's where the root cellar is going to go. And it will kind of double as a storm shelter, because the winds that we've been getting here and all of the bad storms, it would be nice to have a place to go to that's actually underground. So by building the root cellar, it'll have a face on it, but that's it. It will be covered totally with earth, and it will be set back in there far enough that I would not be afraid in any kind of a storm to just go in and ride it out or set it out. So probably the next project after I get the workshop done will be to start on the root cellar. Now I'll have to be a little bit more particular since it's all going to be covered with dirt. I will have to build it to where, you know, it will withstand years of being in a damp environment. So I'm kind of excited to be able to start on that, which will probably be the next project that I do after building that workshop down there, because I'm kind of looking forward to even the front portion of that being able to maybe dress it up a little bit and kind of make it look wonky like I have everything else up here. The corner post of the little bridge that's leading over to the outhouse. I noticed the other day when I came out here that it kind of had rotted towards the bottom down there, and I would imagine that's, you know, where all the moisture is. And I would imagine that that post probably wasn't as firm as the others. I went down there and took a little stick and hammered around on those, and they seem to be, the sound is not a hollow sound. So I'm not worried about the post that the actual structure sitting on. It's just the bridge right here. So I'll probably have to take the bridge loose from the four posts, pull it off, and redo these two. Might as well do both of them at the same time. Or what I could do is extend it on out and make it go all the way to where you see the gravel down there. So you guys leave me some comments. Should I leave it like this or redo it like this? Or should I extend it to where it would come out over there by the gravel? You know, building a homestead like this where you're all over the place and you're doing everything from A to Z, we get a lot of different comments. I get comments a lot of times when I shoot periods of really hard rain of why don't I put up some sort of catchment system and catch that water to use it up here on the homestead. Well, I intend to do that, as well as I intend to build a solar array, dig ditches, put in wiring up to the cabin and some of these other buildings to provide power to them. as well as finishing this structure that I'm working on currently, building the root cellar that I talked about. I got a base camp down there. We've got a gazebo that we're going to build up here and a little seating area. I want to build a couple of camping spots, you know, for people that, a lot of subscribers have come by here to visit us, letting us know that they're in the area, just to be able to provide them a place where they can hang out if they wanted to and come up here and chill with us. Yeah, friends, we just love it when people come by and visit with us. That's the reason that I want to build those campsites, so that if they want to come and hang out with us, they can. You know, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it was actually about 10 months ago that we started that timber frame workshop down there. So if you guys are interested, click up here in the top right hand corner of when we began that here on the review channel. I think that you'll enjoy it. We've come a long way. Thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.